Very special guest. Pleased to have her with me. R&B artist Alecia Kanamu. How you been?
Good. How are you?
Doing pretty well. I know last time we talked, writing your music all over the island. What's the present life for you these days?
Just been really busy working. I've just been gigging as much as I can, working on new music. I'm actually about to shoot a music video. I'm really excited about that. The original music is it's a little bit more fun to perform.
You mentioned about a new music video. Can you talk about that?
It's one of the first songs I actually wrote.
Does it have a title yet?
Yeah, it's called Armor of a Broken Heart. It's basically about my grieving who passed and going through that process. I think music was a huge outlet for me, and it was one of the ways I got through it, or I'm still going through it, but like that helped me along the way. It's probably like one of the only things that had really helped me.
So in music, I know that you have released another music video. You recently released Always Find My Way.
I had like writer's block and I couldn't figure out, and I was in the studio with my producer, and we were just trying to record that day and get something finished, the hook, and kind of started from there. Just writing random things, honestly, and after I wrote the hook, I just wrote the rest of the song to match the hook, and that's what it was. It really wasn't based on like a true story or anything or like real life experience.
You're writing music. What are some of your inspirations? What are some of the things that you look upon when you're writing music? Do you write music based off of life experiences, or, what is your creative process when it comes to writing music?
I feel like that's the hardest thing for me because, I don't know, you just want to write something. Sometimes I find inspiration in other artists, in music, and a lot of times, well, actually all the time, I like write on the spot in my recording sessions. I don't really like to like be in the moment and like feel, whatever comes to mind, a beat, or if we're creating something from scratch, like I just kind of like to create organically that way. It's fun for me. Inspiration comes from everywhere. Like I think a lot, like my favorite artist or whatever, even the weather, like just the mood of a room or something can inspire me to write something.
Now, you mentioned about favorite artists. I actually know a couple of them. Lauryn Hill, Jasmine Sullivan, SZA, to name a few. How have they helped you in your career, and how have they been such a big inspiration to you?
Well, first and foremost, they're the ones who made me want to pursue music. Because of course you're just like, I want to be like them, I want to make that kind of music, or I wish I could sound like them, or want to sing, like them. So that's probably the biggest thing, is just trying to like do their runs or trying to like match their tone, which you can't, but just stuff like that.
You mentioned that they were the ones that got you involved with wanting to do music. Now, let's go back to the early part of your career. When did you realize that you wanted to do a career in music? Did you ever have any other career goals in mind before you wanted to pursue a career in music?
Never really knew what I wanted to do. I always kind of loved design, and I always thought I would do something that had to do with design. And then probably a few years ago, I was really searching for what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And I decided, I actually hadn't played music since I was like in high school, and I'm 32 now this year. So just a few years ago, I don't know, music just came back into my life. And at that time, I was searching for what I wanted to do, as my passion. And I was like, oh, yeah, I never thought I would want to do it, but it's something that I love, and I'm going to be doing it forever regardless. So why not?
Well, if it wasn't for music, you probably would have had a career in design.
I think I just like being a creative person. Like with design, you can just create anything that you want.
What's your enjoyment in music?
It's like therapy for me. It's always there for me when I need, like an outlet to express myself. I just never thought I would have a career in music because I'm kind of shy, and like to get on stage and sing in front of people, it's kind of weird sometimes. But recently I've been trying to get over that. And also I feel like when I write my own stuff and I create my own music and I perform it, I feel good about it. Like I'm not afraid to do that. It's just when I'm doing covers of other people's music, I get a little weird about it. I get super shy. I'm working on it.
You mentioned about teaching. You've done music for quite some time, worked with a lot of people in music. Talk about your relationship that you have with Jonah Davis?
Oh, Jonah was a guitar teacher that I had, and he would help me, like if I had a gig or something, he would always come play for me. Super fun. Yeah, that was pretty much it. He played guitar and taught me guitar. I don't really play too much, but I never really practiced much. But
Knowing that you've come this far in your career, what is something that you wish you would have known when you first started out in your music career?
like, don't hesitate and just do the work. Don't be afraid. I think I've held back so much because I'm just like afraid of what people are going to think, or because you're just very vulnerable. But I mean, you got to get through it. So I think that would be like the biggest thing for me, is to just do it.
Now, you mentioned about the drive to just do it and pursuing your passions in music. What are some of the adversities that you've had to deal with?
I didn't really have any challenges like targeting like females. I think the most challenges I've had are just in my head, when I stop myself from doing certain things. I think the mindset has been the biggest challenge for me. I try not to look at things negatively, and I try to use music as like inspiration. With my music, it was not like a specific thing that I wanted to achieve. It was just to inspire me to live an inspired life.
So if you could describe yourself as an artist.
I don't know. What do people say about themselves? To be a powerful singer, and like ballads and that kind of stuff. Like, my favorite artists are incredible singers.
So in your music career, what are some of the future goals that you have? What are some of the future plans? I know that you're working on a new album, and I know it's supposed to be something that's old R&B, old hip hop, to name a few.
So the songs that I'm about to release, couple like upbeat songs. Immediate goals: put out more content, to be more consistent with content. Long-term goals are, of course, to be like charting my songs, to be on the charts, to start touring, and all that stuff. To be more visible, get out there more, push myself to be out there and get my stuff out, and just show more what I like to do.
Are you working on a new album?
Very soon. I don't really have a set date, but I'm working on it as we speak.
What can we expect off of your new album?
There's so many things we could do, and I really, really won't know until the time comes and we do it. But I think I want to go more in the direction of like cry music. Like soulful R&B, slower, more feminine, because the stuff that I'm about to put out is a little more happy, and I'm just looking to make a little bit more emotional, honest, truthful music, because I think that's like the hardest, but then that also is like what I love, and I feel like everybody loves that. I think that's the next step.
Now, I know that I mentioned you're working on a new album, but have you previously released an EP? Have you previously released an album, or is this your first album that you're releasing?
This will be the first album. I so far have released one single. It's called Always Find My Way, and it's on all streaming platforms.
In your career, who are you mostly thankful for? And as far as what kind of a legacy do you want to get back in your career?
I'm always thankful for everyone who supports and anyone who listens to my stuff. Help people, like if they are going through something, they can use the music to help them get through that. It's just what it did for me. I think that's or to get enjoyment out of music. It's probably it.
You were born in Seattle, Washington. Obviously, you live in Hawaii now. The experience living in Seattle, but now that you're living in Hawaii, how have you been experiencing, or how have you been like in Hawaii so far?
I actually never lived in Seattle. I've always lived in Hawaii. So I've lived in Hawaii since I was a baby. But I have visited Washington a few times. But I love it here in Hawaii, obviously. It's pretty special. I love this place. Just the beaches, probably. Looking at the mountains every day, and the culture and the people, and that aloha spirit that everyone talks about. Everyone everyone knows somebody who knows somebody, or that kind of vibes. It's a mixture of all those things.
It's been a pleasure interviewing you, my friend, Alecia Kanamu. Just want to say I appreciate your time and wishing you all the best.
All right, thank you, Justin. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you so much.